All right, welcome into another Patriots Hub free agency reaction. Alex Barth, Matt Dolloff, 98.5thesportshub.com. As the Patriots move off the line of scrimmage and add to their secondary, signing Carlton Davis from the Detroit Lions, cornerback. It's a 3-year, $60 million deal with $34.5 million guaranteed. Cornerback still definitely a premium position. Patriots had one good one coming into free agency, and now I believe they're leaving with, we'll see, maybe they make more moves, but two good, specifically boundary corners in Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez. Davis, to me, I'll just give the background real quick. 13 games for the Lions last year, 6 interceptions, 2 pass breakups, opposing quarterback rating just over 80. The big thing for me here, not only did the Patriots get a corner, they get a corner that really fits what they needed and fits what they want to do. Davis brings two things that were kind of limited in that cornerback room for the Patriots. The first is experience, especially with John Jones as a pending free agent. It's a very young room. The other thing he brings is size and physicality, 6'1", 206. Obviously, they get that with Christian Gonzalez, but having to put 5'9" Jonathan Jones, 5'8" Marcus Jones out on the boundary the last couple years has hurt them. Now they have another guy that can match up with some of those bigger, more physical wide receivers in Carlton Davis.
Yeah, I love the size more than anything, Barth. Anyone that listens to the Patriots
this
podcast
is your signing.
knows I am one of the top sizes at the station, and so I've been saying for a while.
Although you've said that corner, you don't really apply it as much.
That's true. Yeah, no, there's a sweet spot, but Carlton Davis is what, 6'1"?
6'1", 205.
That's perfect.
Right here. That is
right
built in the Matt Dolloff lab of cornerback.
Right in the sweet spot. Yeah, look, that's pretty much exactly what Stephon Gilmore was. And I'm not saying Carlton Davis is Stephon Gilmore, but like all he needs to be is the number 2 corner, right? And so they needed a bigger outside corner to park opposite Christian Gonzalez. I think this is a good move for them just in terms of how the depth chart, shakes out. If they end up bringing Jonathan Jones back, they don't have to put him on the outside. They can sort of match him up wherever they need to. And so great signing for them. And I don't know if you mentioned it, but there's also the familiarity. He played under Terrell Williams in Detroit. And so there's going to be familiarity with the system and the coaches and all that.
A guy that played with Brady, which I know doesn't mean much, but it's just, to me, always kind of neat when that happens. Began his career with the Bucs, I think, in 2018, right? And
okay, so but he has the playoff experience. Won the Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl with the Bucs and then went deep with the Lions. So there we go. If you watch our Milton Williams reaction, which is up on the Sports Hub YouTube channel, or listen at the Patriots Hub podcast, we talked about this where we're not used to this being an issue for the Patriots, having guys with experience winning in the playoffs and going deep and making runs, because there's always been,
It's become old news.
There's always guys that had that. Well, there's very few guys like that left on the roster. There may be even fewer after this week. So Davis has won a Super Bowl again with the Bucs. He's been on a couple runs now with the Lions. He kind of knows one run with the Lions, just got there last year, but he kind of knows what it takes to get to that point in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. He's played a lot of big games, right? And so, there's nobody left really on the roster other than Jonathan Jones, like you said. Dietrich Wise, also a free agent. So, Jawan Bentley, we'll see. Yeah. We said in our other video about Robert Spillane, we'll see what his role is like. But, they're very, very minimal in terms of experience on either side of the ball playing in big games in the playoffs. And so that's where I think Carlton Davis fills a lot of boxes for them. Yeah.
The other thing I think he helps, and this is maybe a minor thing, but in a league where a lot of corners are hesitant to play the run, he'll step up and play the run. And they're going to be smaller on the edge, quicker on the edge this year. That's just part of their defense. You need a little more help on the perimeter. This is a guy, I think Patriots fans probably remember watching him in Tampa. And granted, that was a few years ago, but it's not like he's, that old. He's 28, and he turned 28 in December. So this is going to be his age 28 season.
Pretty much in his prime.
Right in his prime. Whether it's in a run, whether it's down the field, this is a guy that Christian Gonzalez plays with a good level of physicality. But his real trait is his athleticism, his agility, his instincts. Carlton Davis is the kind of guy that'll sort of punch you in the mouth when he needs to. And I really like that in their secondary. That probably shouldn't be every corner you have, but I think it's really good to have one or two corners that will do that. Jonathan Jones plays with a big edge, so they have one. But again, what's going to happen with him long term? Is he back next year? Is he back beyond that? Carlton Davis is a guy that can help you set the tone in the secondary.
Yeah, like Mike Vrabel said, we want to play a violent brand of football, right? And I kind of push back on Christian Gonzalez being physical. I wouldn't describe him as a physical cornerback.
I guess my point was more he's not soft. He's not physical, but his level of physicality is acceptable. It passes. I don't know that he goes above and beyond, but it's good enough. Davis,
he's not going to punch you in the mouth,
right?
But
Davis will go above and beyond with that.
Yeah, exactly. You need some of that at that position, right? You need to have some sort of. You have to have some sort of an edge to be able to step up and really defend those big outside receivers, right? So you need to sort of match that swagger, so to speak. And so Carlton Davis brings some of that. It's like he brings a lot of the qualities that you need intangibly for what Mike Vrabel's looking for.
And now it'll be interesting to see what they do to fill out the corner position, because you're going to have Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis as your two guys on the outside. That's a good duo. Like, you feel good about that, right? Alex Austin, Isaiah Bolden, they'll probably be in the mix, depth spots. So that's going to be, your third, fourth boundary corner. Marcus Jones in the slot, and then it's, well, what are you doing from there, right? Is Marcus Jones your primary slot corner? Do they want to get bigger in the slot? Even if not, you still need a backup for Marcus Jones, a guy that is good but has struggled to stay healthy. Maybe that's Jonathan Jones, who can give you depth in multiple spots. Or, are you moving Marcus Jones to safety? So we'll see what they do in the slot. But I feel really good about where they're at with boundary corner right now. Like, it didn't feel like they needed a lot. This was not a volume need, right? I didn't need them to go out, and we'll see what they do. I didn't need them to go out and sign like 2 or 3 corners. No. They just needed one guy to bump some of those younger guys down a spot and set the depth chart. Carlton Davis accomplishes that. I think as much as any free agent, him or Travarius Ward, those were the two guys that I looked at and said, you get one of those two guys, you're in great shape. They're good on the boundary. Now we'll just see what they do in the slot, but I feel really good about where they're at with cornerback right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They reset the depth chart, right? Like, this is a move that they need to make this similar move at a receiver.
Yeah,
right now, but like they
well,
did
a little higher up. They don't have a Christian Gonzalez at receiver.
Right, exactly. They needed to do less of that at cornerback, but they did need a sort of a depth chart kind of addition that pushes other guys down. And like I said, you don't have to play a smaller cornerback on the outside. You can now focus on the slot. And this is the same point I made in our video about Austin Hooper, Barth, is that now it's a little bit less of a need in the draft. They don't need to make a big push to get a starting outside corner in the draft.
Boundary corner for sure. Maybe the slot. But
I'm saying that's not like a major need. Like, they don't have to go target a cornerback early in the draft.
Yeah. Good. This is probably pound for pound my favorite signing. Like, Milton Williams is going to get all the attention, and I get that, and he's probably the best player they've signed. But I think for the money, and people are freaking out about the money. The $60 million is a little jarring. $20 million a year. It's $34.5 guaranteed. Corners are expensive too. Who is it from the Panthers? J.C. Horn got that big deal earlier in the day, which like
26 million,
25 million a year, which puts him among the highest. I think it's one of the 5 highest paid corners. It's not one of the 5 best corners in the league. He's a good player, but I wouldn't, put him up there. Christian Gonzalez probably, by the way, seeing that and cheering.
Why are we complaining? Why are we complaining about money? Right,
like that too.
Players are expensive. You want players, especially free agent. You gotta pay players.
But my point is, like, I don't. We came in saying they'd have to overpay guys. I don't know how much they overpaid Carlton Davis.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fine.
They got a good player who fits their system, who brings a physical edge, who brings experience. They didn't have to break the bank. It's expensive. They didn't have to break the bank to do it. Like, well done. Checks a bunch of boxes for me. I feel really good about the Carlton Davis signing.
Yeah, I think you can group them in with Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, and Milton Williams too.
Yeah,
checking a lot of boxes, not just on the field but off the field in terms of their experience and the kind of intensity that they bring.
Yeah,
and I think they're all going to play that sort of violent brand of football that Mike Vrabel wants to do. So, like, big day for the Patriots defense. There's still work to do on the offense. Especially at the really key spots, but the defense, like, they're going to be better coached. They're going to have better talent. Hopefully they have a really good defense.
This is kind of, everybody wants them to mimic the Commanders' offseason. That's kind of what they're doing. Milton Williams is a splash, but Spillane, Carlton Davis, Morgan Moses, like nuts and bolts guys. Not stars, but like starting caliber players that will help you set a floor, and they definitely needed more of those guys. So we have reactions for all of those signings and any more to come on the Sports Hub YouTube page. Also, Patriots Hub podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find previous episodes and episodes to come there. And, of course, on 985thesportshub.com and on our special off-season tracker website, offseason.985thesportshub.com. So, for Matt Dolloff, I'm Alex Barth. Until the next move, thanks for tuning in.